sewing friends. So one thing that I'm being more diligent about this year is cleaning up my sewing room after I finish a project. Because my goal is to have a more organized and cleaner sewing room overall. Now, I'm not talking about an organized and clean sewing room. I'm talking about a more organized and cleaner sewing room than what I've had in the past. So it's baby steps. So after my Merchant Mills shirt dress kind of disappointment, I decided to take a step back and really reassess some of the projects that I want to do, because I want to make a shirt dress, and then I also want to make a shirt dress with a little bit of a corset, and I showed you this one picture that's kind of the inspiration behind it. And so next on my list of projects was the Departure shirt dress from my Talco magazine. I've showed this to you a couple times. See, it's a Talco and it's my Departure dress. But I wanted to reassess because I said, Carol, don't just jump right in and make it, because it might just end up being the same result as the Merchant & Mills shirt dress. Because the Merchant & Mills shirt dress was a very straight up and down boxy oversized pattern. And I finally accepted that my body is never going to look how I want it to look in that type of pattern. You know, I think that type of pattern looks absolutely fabulous on people who are lean and long, and I don't necessarily mean tall, but just this straighter lean body type versus my sort of curvy little chubby body type. So before I jumped straight into the Departure dress, I wanted to give it some thought, because if you look at this line drawing here, you can see that there's no bust darts and there's not a lot of waist shaping. So I thought, okay, this is just going to be the same thing, this oversized tent that's going to make me look like this big fat woman wearing a muumuu. So what can I do to avoid that and still give me that shirt dress look that I want? And I actually looked at the pattern pieces and I'm a little bit more encouraged by this. I still need to make a toile and make some adjustments, because in looking at the Merchant Mills, I kind of wanted to sketch it out. And I sort of, you know, I'm not an artist by any means, but I was looking at it like, how can I make that pattern more accommodate my body type? And I thought, well, I could make it more fit and flare where it came in at the waist and down, but I didn't look like that look. But then I tried an A-line and I thought that might work, making it as a more A-line. So in looking at the Departure, I do see that it is a little bit more A-line, and I'll show you, like if you look here, so if you look at the back pattern piece here, you can see that it goes in at the waist here and then out. It is not placed on the fold. Can you see how that goes in and then out? So that gives me a little bit of encouragement. And then you can also see that it is a little bit more A-line than the Merchant Mills, which literally is two straight lines. You know, it's the front and the back are just two straight lines. So before, as I said, before I jump in and cut out fabric and do all that, I want to go ahead and do a toile on this, just so that I don't have the same result as my Merchant Mills one. So in taking a step back, I still wanted to do some garment sewing. You know, I kind of have two thoughts of sewing here. I have like projects that I want to make that are more creative, a little bit more out there and more involved. And then I have just regular garment sewing because I just want to wear clothes, because who doesn't enjoy making something new to wear? So I took a step back from the projects to give it more thought, and I did a couple of things. One is I finally did the finishing touches on my aria. This has been hanging in the sewing room for a good 2-3 months because it needed to be hemmed and it needed the buttons and buttonholes sewn on. And I just let it hang there. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked in thinking, or gotten up in the morning wanting to get dressed, and I thought, oh, I could totally wear my button up well, no, I can't because it doesn't have buttons on it, and it's not hemmed. So I finally found some bias binding in my stash and did a bias binding hem because it's curved, it has comes up at this hip, side hip, and then goes down. Finally got the hem, got my buttons and buttonholes done, and I can't tell you how much I really love this pattern and love this fabric. It's a cute little coffee motif, and it's kind of ironic because I don't drink coffee. I tried it once, I think when I was 12, and didn't like the taste, and I've never had it again. So, yeah, but I thought the fabric was really cute, and I have to say that every time I wear this, I get really nice comments on it, and people like the shirt. So I'm so glad that I finally forced myself to finish the hem and the button and buttonholes, so now I can wear it. Another project that I completed was my Marlowe sweater. Okay, here it is. Love it. Back in November, I think it was, I told you we'd gone hiking, and while we were hiking, someone broke into our car and stole my Marlowe sweater, among other things, which is really a drag because I really want something to wear, to layer when it's cold. And so I had bought fabric specifically for this pattern, for the Marlowe sweater. And it sat there, and it sat there, and it sat there. And so I forced myself to go ahead and sew it together, and so happy that I did. And really, it's such an easy pattern, such an easy pattern. I think it took me an hour and a half from start to finish to just cut out, sew up. Yeah, so I got that done. I also made a cardigan, the Sinclair Harper cardigan for my daughter. And that's another lovely cardigan pattern too. That's another one that I want to make for myself. So yeah, I just have to decide what fabric I want to use, what sweater knit that I want to use for that. So I got the two sweaters done, and I'll try and get a picture of my daughter in her Harper cardigan so you can see what it looks like. Excuse me. And then the two other things that I did is I had some cotton jersey. Yeah, cotton jersey, because I wanted to make a basic black tee and a basic white tee. And for the black tee, I've been feeling a little lately. I haven't been watching, I haven't been eating right, and haven't been exercising because it's cold in the morning and it's dark and it's rainy. So I haven't been, myself the past couple of months. So what I wanted to do was make this t-shirt. It's the Vogue 1733, and I just did here. You can see it has lots of different variations on the t-shirt, but I just made your basic tee. Has a very wide scoop neck, and then I made 3/4 length sleeves. And the reason I chose this pattern, because even on the back it says it's a pullover top, close fitting through the bust, and has a neckline and shaped hem variations. And that's what I like about it. It's very close fitting or tight fitting through the bust, and then it just sort of loosens out. So it gives me that feeling of wearing a sweatshirt, because it's a little, without wearing a sweatshirt. So it kind of gives you a little bit more room in the stomach and hips without being a big oversized tent, or something, which after the Merchant Mill shirt dress, I don't want a big oversized tent. So that's what I really like about this. I have a couple of t-shirts. This was one of the first things I started sewing when I got back into sewing, was this t-shirt, and I really like it. So yeah, I made that out of a black Art Gallery cotton jersey. And then I made another white, or for me it's ivory, off-white, Concord tee. And what I've decided is that, every January, I just need to make a basic tee. Just a basic, and Concord is my go-to TNT pattern, the Cashmere Concord tee. Gonna have to make one at least every January, because being a white t-shirt, I find that I occasionally spill on it. Sometimes something so silly as I have a pen in my hand and I accidentally put a pen mark or an ink mark on it. I found myself sometimes I'll start cooking dinner and I won't have an apron on and things will splatter or splash. And after a year, I've just found I can only get a year, sometimes even not a full year, out of a white cotton basic tee. So that's just something I'm going to do every January. Make a white basic tee to replace the old ones and then get rid of the old ones, because otherwise I end up wearing them. And who wants to, no. I'm past the stage in my life where I should be wearing clothes that have stains on them that don't come out. You know what I mean? So as far as projects that I have planned after my departure dress and doing the little bodice or corset thing, when I was making my patina with the sequin top, my daughter would come into the sewing room and she would be like, oh, that's so pretty. And she goes, I get the feeling of like a ballerina. And as I was making it myself, I remember thinking it's kind of this peachy fabric color. And I myself had thought, you know what? I wonder if it would look good with a tulle skirt. Now, I remember a couple years ago, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, I remember seeing something where, down the runway, tulle was really in, tulle skirts. And at the time, I'm thinking, yeah, right, that's never going to look good. I don't care who you are, what color, how it's made. That's just not ever going to look good. Well, what do they say? Never say never. Because I actually had that thought of making a tulle skirt. And lo and behold, the next month, the Talco magazine has this tulle dress on it. Oh, I can't believe it. And so this is something I am definitely going to make. Here's a couple of pictures. I do like the back. See how it has the ruffles here in the clear back? I don't necessarily like the ruffles coming down in front, because when I see other pictures, well, this one here, if you can see the front collar here, doesn't look too bad. But they made it out of this other fabric, which I do not think looks good at all. And it's a short dress. I don't like it. See this one here? I don't like that at all. But as far as a tulle dress goes, or a tulle skirt, I'm all in. I am all in. So this is next on my queue as far as projects go. But the challenge is that I want to make it so should there ever be an event in my life that I could wear a tulle skirt, because there's a couple of things to think about. First of all, I need to have the guts to wear it, which I think I do. Yeah. But I also, the challenge that I see is that I need to make it look good enough. So I have to choose the right color, the right weight, gather it right, so that when an occasion comes along that I can wear a tulle dress or a tulle skirt, that it will look intentional. Okay, and it will look good. So it's not going to look like I'm cosplay or that I'm a little 5-year-old wanting to be a ballerina with a tutu. I mean, there's definitely got to be some thought behind how it's made, how it's going to be styled. But definitely next on my queue is a tulle dress or a tulle skirt. Then also in this magazine that really inspired me, they have this one called The Three Sisters. And what it is are these little collars that you can make. So here's one. Okay. And here are the other two. One is this little Peter Pan collar. Here, little Peter Pan collar. And then the other one is this big ruffle one, which I'm really not too fond of. I like the pointy one and the Peter Pan one. And when I saw this, especially the little Peter Pan one, what I saw with the little ribbon hanging down is I sort of saw like a Southwestern feel, like a bolero. You know how in New Mexico and Santa Fe, the men will wear boleros versus ties. And I saw this and sort of got that feeling, that inspiration from it. So what I think I want to do is I have some leftover leather. This is just one piece. I have several pieces. Leftover leather from my bomber jacket. And I'm thinking, I want to make one of those collars. And And I want to do sort of a southwesterny, but not cliche southwestern, but give it that bolero look maybe. I don't know if I want to add any, what's the word, any jewelry or anything, but it's something I want to explore. So I'm going to have to make a couple of samples on that before I cut into leather. But I'm thinking that might be fun. That might be fun to explore, is these little collars. And then another thing I wanted to make that had been on my mind was a hoodie, but I wanted to make an organza hoodie. I had seen something like that once on one of those fashion shows, like, you know, Project Runway or Next in Fashion. I really can't remember what show I saw it on, but it was kind of this chartreuse organza hoodie, which as soon as the model walked out, I loved it, and of course the judges loved it, and that's been in the back of my mind ever since. But then again, in this Talco magazine they have what they call the Irish shirt and dress. It was designed by Francesca Barbado. This top, I don't know if this is organza, but it's obviously see-through. But I did like that, and I thought, I want to make that before I try my organza hoodie. I think I might try this blouse, this top, in a nice organza. So those are the three projects. I think that this iris top will be relatively easy to make, and I think the collars will be relatively quick and easy to make. The tulle dress is going to take some time. Yeah, that's going to take a lot of time to get that right, I think. But those are the three Talco projects that I plan on making after I finish my shirt dress with my little corset thing. So those are my plans. Those are the projects that I have on my list to work on. So please let me know in the comments what you guys are working on or what you would like to try. And if you want to see how my tulle dress and my leather collars and my organza top turn out, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe so you'll go ahead and be notified when that video comes out and you can see how they turn out. I hope you're doing well, and I truly appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.